Okay, so tomorrow is 3.5 months on teen, so I thought I would do a video right now because my parents are gone and I don't like doing videos when they're home, as everybody knows. And since tomorrow is gender therapy day, like I will be in Richmond tomorrow with my mom, so I won't be able to do like an actual video on that day. But I can do one right now, so I'm gonna do one right now. Basically, I'm still waiting on England. I don't know if I'm in yet. They're still deciding. Um, I really hope it's a yes. Um, Things have been really tense at my house, especially now that my changes are more noticeable. A year ago, this coming Friday, so the 6th of July, I had a hysterectomy in Minnesota where I was living. I had a tumor on my ovary and they thought I had cancer, but then they got in and it was benign, but it was a really nasty tumor. And I came out to my parents earlier, a few months before this. My dad and I stopped talking. I would call home and he would basically say, like, I don't have anything to say to you, talk to your mother. I came home for a month in May last year and we didn't talk about it. He refuses to call me Blake. He still refuses to call me Blake. He refuses to see me as a guy. And he and I have talked about it several times. And he's basically said, I'm never going to accept this. I just can't. This is too much. But he and I stopped talking. And then on the 13th of June last year, I called home from the hospital and said, I have a tumor. And there's a good chance that it's cancerous. Which the tumor they had found in January, but then did nothing about it. And I had stupid freaking doctors. But anyway, so because this was a year ago this week, it's just kind of like, wow, this is where I was a year ago. I miss home like crazy, and this weekend's Gay Pride in Minneapolis, and I'm not there, and all my friends are there, and it's just like I miss Gay Pride. And that was one of the last times I saw a lot of my friends. But so I went to Gay Pride and last year, and I called home, and I told my dad that I was there, and he was like, "I have nothing to say to you," and I was just like, "Gee, thanks." But so I told the doctor that I wanted a full-on hysterectomy because I'm transgender. I have a history of having problems. One of the reasons that I had a tumor was my body makes more testosterone over estrogen, which I know I've talked about. But I wanted to do like a full hysterectomy, and then my doctor said, "Yeah, okay, let's do that." But then my mom called, and my mom has known this doctor because my mom has worked for a cancer company like my entire life. My mom used to work in Minnesota like for like a long time, so she knew the doctor. And then she told me, she was like, you should really keep your left ovary because it's still good, and hormones. And at this point, I was trying to say, hey, listen, I'm a man. I don't need my uterus. I don't need my ovaries. Just take it all out. And then I wanted my parents to be more okay with it. And at this stage, my mom was like completely not on board. And I tried bringing it up, hey, when I go to transition, it's going to make things a lot easier. It's a surgery I don't have to pay for, like a lot of trans guys do. So, but I conceded and said, all right, fine. I'll just take out the bad ovary. Well, things went down the day of surgery, and I ended up moving to North Carolina home with my parents, and they were like, this is probably the best thing for you. And so I came home about a year ago this week. And it's been an interesting year, and I came home and I was like, I'm coming back to St. Cloud in August. And then it became apparent that that was not happening. So I enrolled in the college, and I've gotten really good grades. So I'm hoping that it's enough to get me to England. But things have gotten pretty tense since the last gender appointment I had. I got a tattoo commemorating the last year that I've had because, again, in January, I started feeling abdominal pain, and it felt similar to the tumor pains. And then as soon as, like, 2 weeks into dating Theo, I had a tumor on my left ovary, and I had it removed. But so it was just kind of like, see, I know my own body. I know what I want. I know what's right for me, and I really wish that doctors that take me more seriously. I wish my parents would have said, "All right, you know what? You're 21. It's your life." Because then I ended up having to have the same surgery twice. Um, Along with my gallbladder taken out. So I've had 2 surgeries in the last year, which is a lot. But I don't have any of my reproductive organs left, and I'm not sad about it. I'm really not. Like, if I want kids someday, I can adopt. It's not the end of the world to me, and it really bothers me that, like, my dad called me the day of surgery when I was in St. Cloud because my mom rushed out and flew, and my dad stayed in North Carolina, and he was like, because they rushed it up to, to the next day on the 5th of July because my surgeon saw me and was like, "You're getting way worse. We just need to take it out, like, tomorrow." So I had a rush surgery, and he called me crying, and he was like, "You can't ever be a mother," and I'm like, "I'm a guy. You don't need to be saying shit like that to me." But it's just like it's something I don't care about. Like, just because I didn't biologically create a kid doesn't mean it's any less like mine. So to me that was nothing. But so I came home from gender therapy in May. And this was like the second week of May because it was right after college had let out for summer. Um and I got my tattoo and I came home and I got a tattoo when I was 19. My dad got pissed and then kind of said nothing. So I thought, you know what? He already knows I have one tattoo. What's another one? Um, After this was something that I really wanted, and so I have a semicolon on my arm or on my wrist, and it says your story isn't over yet because I'm a writer and I'm transitioning, and I had 2 tumors in the last year, so I've gone through a lot. But my story's not over yet. I'm not done. I'm a work in progress. So I just thought, okay, cool. But then my dad saw it and was like, "What the hell is this?" And he just like blew up and was like, "There's stuff I can't accept." And my mom that night like was like, "If you can't accept your child, then you need to get out of here." And a couple of weeks later, I asked my mom if she'd go to therapy with me and we could talk about things because I don't want my parents to break up over me. Um, and just since then, my dad and I have not talked. Uh, and right around this time is when my voice started noticeably dropping. My hair I have full on chin hair now. Yeah, you can kind of see it. But I mean, so he and I worked out a don't ask, don't tell. I don't bring up my transition to my dad. I do with my mother. And her and I talked, and I said, Mom, remember when I first moved home last July and you flat out told me, like, you're never going to accept me as Blake. And what changed this? And she's like, I don't know. I just know that this is what I have to do. You're still my child and I just want the best for you. And her and I have talked about schools, and she was like, I'm worried about you if you go all the way to London because, like, I can't be there. Like, here I know that nobody's going to shoot you up because you're trans. Like, and she was like, yeah, I know that London is way more safer than North Carolina because, like, okay, so this last week I had a job interview at McDonald's, which I worked at for a year in St. Cloud, and they really needed help. But then I didn't say I was trans. I just said, hey, I prefer the name Blake. And, like, right now I'm at the worst part of my transition because I'm, like, noticeably transitioning. I'm in the middle. And she was like, yeah, so we'll call you if we're interested. She didn't even ask me any questions or anything. So it was like, I'm in a place where legally that's totally okay. You can totally discriminate me because I'm queer. You can totally discriminate against me because I'm trans. And so, like, but my mom and I were talking about situations, and my dad kind of walked in, and I was like, the university will most likely give me my own room, or I can get an apartment off campus, which is more expensive. But I said, I'd like to live on campus at least for the first year, especially because I don't know London. Like, I've never been to England. Like, I've always wanted to go, but I don't know the area at all and everything. And she was like, well, that makes sense because there's already a boy and a girl living in a room. And then my dad kind of got really pissed off. And then, like, now my mom or my dad used to just go, okay, Trish, and she's in hers, just because it pissed my dad off so bad, and it still pisses him off. But now she just says your child or your kid, and, like, to me, that's not exactly ideal, but it's way better. So now I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that tomorrow my mom and I are gonna go talk. to my therapist, get a plan in place. Hopefully I'm moving out in September or August. I don't know yet. If I get into England, I'm moving out in the end of September, which isn't that far away, especially when you think about all the stuff that I have to do to get ready. And I have to next month, or yeah, it's July. I have to go back to Raleigh to do my checkups, and they're gonna redo my labs and just see where my hormone levels are. I already know that I don't have any estrogen because I don't make any. So the only hormone that I have is testosterone. Um, and then they're gonna just, double check everything and make sure that I'm okay. And then they're most likely gonna up my dose, probably to 50 milligrams. I'm on 25 right now, or milliliters, whatever. Yeah, 50. I'm on 25 right now, every week, but then it's probably gonna go up to 50, and then I'm gonna have to find a doctor in London that will do my shots prescriptions for me because or my labs for me because my doctor's in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm potentially moving to England. So it's stuff I got to figure out, and then if I don't get in or if I defer it for a year, October I have to change my name and I have to change my passport. I have to change I have to change everything before I go. And because my passport picture is from when I was 16 and I was like, yeah, I'm a girl, so I had hair down to here, and now I have facial hair and short hair. And my mom is going to give me a haircut today. And last night, I just casually said, hey, Mom, can you turn my hair tomorrow because it's getting long again? And she was like, yeah, sure. And my dad just was like pissed off. And it was like, okay. My room is kind of messy because it was laundry day. So, like, my bed's not made. And I'm probably going to clean my room after I do this. But I did a bunch of homework today. I did a bunch of homework yesterday. My lowest grade right now is an 80%. Um, and I'm in 3 online classes this summer. So I definitely uh, still have the grades to go to England. So because right now they're going to give me a conditional acceptance because technically I don't have the semester's grades done yet, and technically I'm not at 30 credits until the summer's over because of uh, last spring I had to drop out of everything except for creative writing. So they're like, yeah, we'll just give you a conditional acceptance, and as long as you get your 30 credits and you're at a cumulative of a 3.0, we don't care, we'll accept you, like, full on. So and then they're gonna probably get those in August, so then I have like a month to get my visa, and I don't know if that's enough time. Hopefully it is. I just really hope it is, because if I get in and then can't go because I can't get a visa, I'm gonna be really pissed. So yeah, tomorrow's gender therapy. I might do a video sometime next week. I don't know, or I might just say, hey, I'll just wait till next Monday and update, but I don't know. Um, so yeah, tomorrow's 3.5 months, and I'm excited. And it'll be good too because this is like the first therapy session my mom's going to with a trans therapist, like a transgender issues therapist. Like, my therapist isn't trans, but she's a trans specialist, if that makes any sense. So, anyway, I hope everyone's doing good, and I will talk to you guys later, and have a great week.